it's making me realize everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I. It's making me realize everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I. about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way to save them. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way to save them. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way.
I don't want these problems.
should come back home. Come back home.
I've been thinking about you lately, and all the places that you could take me. Why you so shy? You got me going wild. 'Cause I've been saying that you got it, baby, give it to me. See my lightning, you gonna feel my thunder. Show me how you do it, come on baby, say it louder. Got you on my mind now, let me see your style. I'm on my way tonight. Oh, yeah, yeah. 'Cause I think about you, you. 'Cause I think about what I think about you. I wanted to make you see that you were the one for me. But there was enough, 'cause you're up and down and then everything's the same. Baby, how do I make you listen? Don't wanna be through, 'cause I wanna put you, baby. You and me tonight.
Alrighty, welcome everyone back to week 8, the first set of semi-finals for Women's League Season 2. My name is the Russian Cthulhu. I'm once again joined by a wonderful Pi. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. Um, oh my gosh. So we were just talking about it off camera, but I actually got MVN today, which is why if I do drop out or if something funky does happen to me, it's not my fault. It's not Cthulhu's fault. It's not XP's fault. It's completely just my net.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed that NBN will not fail us. But we have quite a exciting set of matches today and set of maps, which we'll get into all of the details just a little bit later. But for the time being, just a quick mention from one of our wonderful sponsors, that is the ZQ Racing. They have the MVP prize giveaway going on right now. So the teams that are, well, at this point, the 4 teams that have qualified for the playoffs will have the chance to really duke it out for the wonderful chair that could be given away here to the MVP of the winning team, which you can see right on your screen as well. V6 Racer gaming chair in purple and black, which does look pretty groovy and probably will feel as well quite nice to sit on. So yeah, there's going to be quite a good chance to get it there. Well, we shall see who will be the victor of that at a later date. For now, let's set our gaze back towards all the teams that so far were participating in season 2. All of those teams, massive props to them for deciding to for deciding and making it to play in season 2, and some really good matchups that we got to see from pretty much all of these rosters.
Yeah, most definitely. Every single team has been given the chance to be on stream. So if you ever wanted to go look back at some of the VODs, whether it's stuff that we've casted, Cthulhu and I, or if it's stuff without casting, there's also VODs available on the YouTube XP Esports channel for anyone who wants to watch those as well.
Correct, yes. And let's also have a look at the overall leaderboard, how the regular season of Round Robin has concluded itself. So we do have our 4 teams that will be Elevate, Kings Women, Exto Gaming, Aqua, and Forbidden Gaming to play it out in the playoffs, whereas 71st Enix and Queen Bees, unfortunately, were not able to make it, but still some valiant effort from all of those teams. Like you mentioned before, all of them did get at least some time on on the broadcast, so there's going to be still some good amount of VOD material to watch as well for both of the teams.
Yeah, and even if they finished 5th, 6th, 7th, regardless, I'm pretty sure most of the teams actually managed to take a few rounds away from the top 4 teams as well, which probably impacted the overall score difference as well. So,
Correct,
if they're not in the semis and the finals, they still managed to have an impact on these teams who have made it to the semis and finals.
Yeah, they were still able to play for that kind of the small upset, I suppose, within the final standings. But talking about the standings and the playoffs, let's have a look at the bracket as well to see which teams and will be duking it out against whom. So for the streamed semi-final, we are going to be seeing Elevate to battle it out against Forbidden Gaming, whereas off-stream we will be hearing about Kings Women versus Exto Gaming Aqua, which I would imagine will be a fairly close matchup as well. But Elevate versus Forbidden, now they are going to be in a bit more of a different setup. They will be playing with a slightly different match settings as well. Now that it's not a best of 1, it's a best of 3 semi-final. So both the teams will get plenty of chances to get back at each other.
Yeah, different to how we've done things before. This is going to be the first time in the tournament where we actually do get a best of 3, and there will be overtime effective in our games as well, which means no more ties. It will be honest, so winner takes all, pretty much. Well, winner will take it to the semi-winners, who will hopefully take it to the champions. Whereas the loser will still have a chance. Again, they will be put into the lower bracket, along with the loser from Kings Women and EXO, and they'll be duking it out for 3rd place.
Yeah, so there's still going to be a few chances to score themselves the dubs, but yeah, here we are It is Elevate versus Forbidden. Last time, Forbidden actually did take quite a fair few rounds of Elevate. It was a 7-5 scoreline last time they've played, and it was on Clubhouse as well. So, should be, I reckon, still a fairly close matchup, albeit I would imagine the general favor is still going towards Elevate, I would imagine.
Yeah, Elevate have been extremely dominant this entire series. They haven't had a single loss so far. Their only draw has been against Kingswomen. However, the last time that we did see Elevate versus Kingswomen, I believe Elevate actually came out on top. Yes, Elevate actually
Correct.
came out on top. It was a 7-5 towards Elevate. So, at this point, Elevate is almost unbeatable because they quite honestly are. No other team has come as close as Kingswomen, and in this case, Forbidden as well, when it comes to taking the map away from Elevate. And the closest Forbidden came was on Clubhouse, which is coincidentally going to be our first map today as well.
Yes, we will mention we will have a look at all of the maps that we will be seeing for tonight's best of 3 in just a short few moments. But first, let's have a look at the rosters of both of those two teams. First up, it's Elevate, already the fairly well-known names within the Women's League. It's Cortari, Lola, Aussie Princess, Sav, Serenity, and Crescent as their sub-player. So far, they've been, like you mentioned, pretty dominant, flawless run. In theory, they should be the ones to be going into the grand finals, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there were a few really questionable rounds, a few odd, very close maps where Forbidden themselves nearly took it to to a draw against Elevate. Same goes for Kingswomen that game. I mean, Elevate do certainly they are able to be. Sorry, they can bleed. So
Yes.
therefore, they can be defeated here. So things could certainly elevate here for themselves if they won't be too cautious.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized pun, technically unintended, but we'll roll with it.
Intended.
Let's have a look. At this point, yeah, very much intended. Let's go with the Forbidden Gaming, though. Let's have a look at them and see who will be challenging the giants, I suppose, of Women's League. Would you care to run us through them?
Sure. So Forbidden's roster consists of Mons as the captain, Weird One, Soy, Diana, Finite, and Chrissy as the sub, and Minxie as the coach. And as you said before, they have shown us a lot of strength from Forbidden. Forbidden at the start seemed a little lackluster. They almost slipped under the radar. But, especially that game that they last had against Elevate, they really showed up. They showed up what they were made out of. They showed that they were able to take out or take on at least the giants of this tournament and still, cause Elevate to bleed. So this is almost like an ultimate redemption match to see if has Elevate changed anything up? Has Forbidden improved even more? I'm quite curious to see this.
Yeah, this question will definitely be answered tonight. Let's have a look at the maps that they are going to be also playing out on, given that you already mentioned the first map is going to be Clubhouse. There it is. The second map is going to be Cafe, which is Elevate's pick, funnily enough. And then Villa is going to be the big decider should we need the third map to really verify the scoreline at the end. Clubhouse, let's quickly mention that before we dive straight into it. Last time it was a really close game, full 12 rounds. We saw both the teams play it out, and most of those rounds did go down to pretty much final 10, 20 seconds, and it was kind of a continuous bloodbath, I suppose.
Yeah, I think both teams struggled a little bit when it came to the attack, but ultimately, I believe, and one of the factors we identified as to why Elevate dropped so many maps on, so many rounds on the attack, was because they only bought one hard breacher. So if there's anything that they're going to be taking as criticism into this upcoming map that we're going to be seeing, it's please take 2 hard breachers, whether that's a Thermite or a Habana, because most undoubtedly Maverick will get banned out, knowing these two teams and their ban records. But taking 2 hard breaches drastically changed how Elevate was playing, because they were actually able to come back from these rounds, because if one set of hard breacher gets denied or tricked, there was still another to fall back on.
Yeah, I mean, with the introduction of Shadow Legacy as well, there's the secondary heart breaching device as well, so we could potentially see that come in play. Quick reminder as well, Ace and Melusi are still banned up until the end of Season 2, same goes for Zero, so we won't be seeing them just yet to make an appearance, but Season 3 definitely, those two Steel Wave operators will be coming into play, which are definitely going to be changing the play field. But before we dive straight into the matchup, let's have a look quickly at the overall clubhouse, at its scenic views, and well, we shall be seeing Elevate actually go on attack.
Speaking of the new changes in Shadow Legacy, do you think this is going to impact the operator lineup much?
Yes, very much. Or at the very least, in the competitive setting, yeah, with Ace and Melusi, we've seen already in the first day of Oceanic Nationals, it was, pretty much the first pick. In Okami versus, I believe that was Rhythm, Melusi has been a first pick, Ace was a first pick. Even we actually got to see a teaser during the PAX Online where Ace and Melusi were released from the competitive quarantine, and Ace was pretty much just straight away just opening things up. So yeah, it definitely, it's changing the overall kind of balance and the idea of how you should defend, given that it's more so you're not attempting to stop the breach. The breach is going to happen one way or another. It's more so, what is your strategy after the walls get open? So yeah, it's certainly going to be quite a different siege once we're going to be seeing more of Ace and Lucy to be let out into the wild.
Into the wild, where they can freely roam and populate.
Yeah.
Yes. No, but I definitely agree. I'm really interested to see if the meta of Siege will essentially shift to more of, you're able to breach open surfaces, you're able to create all these walkways, but then the meta will center more about the gadget denial and about like actual, how do I phrase this? Space denial, sort of, with the Melusi gadgets. She's able to, slow down so much of the attacker's almost pace. So I'm quite interested to see, how teams will utilize that effectively.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting outcome whenever we'll get to see both of those operators to be used as well in Women's League. But let's have a look at this. So this is Church and Arsenal room. They are Elevate already are bringing in a Monty, but I have a suspicion that they bring it in Monty. Well, okay, they bring it in a Nook. Well, Monty for a 6-pick, but Nook also has that secondary hard breach device. Now, here's the question: are they going to be picking her for the frag grenades or for that hard breaching device?
Attackers need to
either or, it's still quite effective. And we can see from Lola that she does have the frag grenades in her pocket. But on Elevate's side, they do have 2 hard breaches this time, which, as we talked about, was almost the bane of their rounds last time. So, undoubtedly, we'll probably be seeing Dirt Tunnel get opened up by Aussie on the Thermite. And then Kotari will be the real challenge, She'll most likely have to take down those kitchen hatches or that the bar hatch that Mons is currently reinforcing. Kotari apparently has eyes on as well. I'm interested to see, how Thatcher being let through will change things.
Yeah, we'll have to see how will it really play out. We've mentioned this before during the PAX Online broadcast as well, where Thatcher's EMP will actually be able to only jam and temporarily disable Kite devices. So in theory, the Kite tricking should be a little bit more simple, but we'll have to see. Well, unless the Thatcher decides to just dump all 3 of his grenades in there, but that is still remains to be seen. I'm liking what Lola is doing here, just using her gadget just to ensure that she doesn't generate any sound, plus the opponent team won't know really what is coming for them, and I'm pretty sure she's rocking the mop headgear as well. Which is actually
she's about
quite amazing.
To clean up this round with her plays. Yeah, okay. I don't know where I was going with that.
Look, I mean, all I'm gonna say is I saw a phenomenal artwork. I'm not too sure who did it. I'm
Was it the
thinking.
knock face reveal?
No.
Oh.
No, where Zafia is holding Nook, who's just pretty much just standing straight and holding her as a mop and just swiping the floor. I think it was Sanjosi who did it, or Simon. So I'll have to double check. But yeah, that was like the first thing that I saw. I was like, oh my god, yes, this is the skin that I need. I have a mighty need in my life.
Yes. I am a little bit concerned with how Elevate is utilizing their drones. If we take a look at their drones, actually, a lot of them are destroyed. More than half of them are actually destroyed, and it's almost 2 minutes into the round, which means very little amount of drones will be actually able to use to drone outside. Luckily, they do know that someone is behind that blue oil engine, that being Soy. She does have a few Jaeger ADSs to help with that, but unfortunately I believe those flash grenades will have flushed them out entirely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those... oh no, wait, the ADSs are still doing their job. It's more so rather the ADS was still fairly far away. Finally, there is some push through the oil pit, so there is going to be a bit of a crossfire, but if Diana goes in for the swing, she might just be able to swipe up Cortari here in just a few more seconds. 30 seconds remaining, not a single frag has been dealt, and we're just about to have a first blood, courtesy of either one of the teams. But right now, this is looking pretty good for Forbidden, with their defense being pretty stable, pretty actually withdrawn. So it's more so the fact that Elevate are not doing enough aggression.
Yeah, I was gonna say Diana is in such an awkward position because she's being cut off by the tunnel as well as Blue, but unfortunately those smoke canisters manage to take down Ozzy, and Lola gets picked off by Weird One. Sav goes for the trade onto Mons. That is a double kill for Sav. Cortari's plant does go down, and it is planted. However, both Cortari and Sav are so low. Sav manages to take down Soy in a triple kill. Will this be a quadra for Sav?
We'll have to see, because right now Weird One's position is still somewhat unknown, but there is an angle being held. Yeah, there it is. There's the quad kill by Sav to kick things off, but that was very close to the comfort zone for out of comfort zone for Elevate, given that they started planting the diffuser 1 second before the round expired.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit curious about Elevate's, choice of how to proceed throughout this round, because I didn't really see any hatches get tackled down. All I saw was that blue push. I assume, Aussie did open up Dirt Tunnel with her thermite breaches, which made it so that they did have another angle to potentially cut off anyone in Arsenal. But for the most part, it was just a straight blue push, and they managed to, almost brute force their way in, get that bomb down, and just get the trades and frags from there.
Yeah, relying on your frag is not a bad thing per se, but in such situations like we just saw here on Church Push, it felt a little bit mistimed, given that if one of those operators like Sav would have gone down, this would have been an instant win for Forbidden.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they definitely drew the short stick in that case, and just maybe their bullets didn't land, maybe their communication wasn't just as quick in those last few seconds, and they got caught by surprise almost, because maybe their guard was being let out because they were like, oh, one, 2 seconds left in the round, we got this, guys, let's go, hold your angles. But out of nowhere, Sav just comes swinging like a madman and manages to pick 4 of them down.
And that is also a swing with a Thatcher out of all the operators, which is probably the most amusing part for me as well. But nonetheless, props to Sav for pretty much pulling out that round up for the rest of her team. But now for the CCTV push. If they are doing the similar thing, this could mean a whole lot of trouble, albeit the moment I say that, Weird One already cops a fair bit of damage. So we are back to a very withdrawn play, and no vertical play from below, which means free real estate for Elevate, really.
I'm curious where Weird One actually managed to tag most of her damage. Was it through a drone hole?
Could be through a drone hole. Could be through one of the pre-fires. No, it doesn't look like it. So.
Everything else is castled off. Yeah. Visible confusion.
Yeah, visible confusion. The visible confusion right now is on Finite because she got stunned, she got EMP'd, she got forced of her position without even any vertical presence, and right now being flashed as well. Like, look at the sheer amount of flashbangs. No ears, no eyes, no cognitive function. All of it just this disease returned to monkey at this point.
Yeah, and unfortunately that wall being opened up in CCTV does mean that an angle onto rafters can be secured. These new 2.0 pings are coming out. We can see that through the observers. Quite sneaky, ping number 1, which means that Mons, unfortunately, has been cut off in those rafters as well.
So talking about being cut off, Cortari is going to be going on a hunt. There is a drone now, fully confirming that there is a Womai behind that ballistic shield. It's rather more so now trying to confirm where to get that shot from and whether she won't be crossfired there by Bandit, because Finite actually has a pretty solid position right on those stairs, and at least until she gets distracted. She does get tagged up and her head gets exposed, so Kutari does find that shot onto Finite's head, so that is the Bandit off the board. No more presence in the CCTV straight away, so right now it's more so a question of taking control of the rafters, and well, Saren just ensures that very thing with the LMG, so well, there we go. Ready. Very prompt response and very good beginning here. Aussie takes a little bit of damage, and now all down to Soy to try to get some sort of clutch potential here, but right now she's being pressured from a multitude of angles. Does find the shot onto Lola though, so already a 1v4 with a planted down. Well, not a whole lot of chances there, as Saren had the angle covered pretty tightly, so that is round 2 to go into the hands of Elevate.
Yeah, I think comparatively that push from Elevate was a lot more smoother and a lot more standard than compared to the push where they did for the Church and Arsenal attack. They methodically went for that breach in CCTV, secured rafters, managed to get the standard plant down in that default location in CCTV, got all those angles covered, and they pretty much played it by the books. It's nothing special, but also everything perfectly done.
Exactly, yeah. It was very well organized, much better execution comparative to what they had for the Church and Arsenal push, which we are going to be seeing for round number 3. Apart from that, if they keep this up, if they keep up this coordination and figure out early into the round whether they want to push, this is where they will be able to really come out victorious.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Yeah, I think, I agree with everything you said. I think a lot of this will come down to how well we'll be able to see any gadget denial coming out from Finite. Finite has been on the Bandit and the Legion when it comes to CC and when it comes to Church and Arsenal. Sorry, the word just flew out of my head. She has been on the anti-breach denial, so drawing back onto how the rounds were won the last time that Forbidden and Elevate were playing against each other, it was a lot of Finite's job to deny those Thermite and Habana pellets, which she did. She did everything perfectly, and that was such a huge thorn in Elevate's side. So she's able to replicate that performance one more time. I think this could really turn in the hands of Forbidden.
Oh yes. If Forbidden are able to just figure out the general pattern of Elevate and being able to figure out where could the main push, at least for the hard breaches, come around, this could be huge. Soy's position could have been also a powerful one if she wouldn't have been droned out, but as it stands, at the very least, with her previous position, she was able to slow down the general take of Elevate and of the ground floor. So not too bad, but with the minute already just about to be drained, it's only Lola who's actually going to be going for an entry on the main stairs and could potentially maybe catch out a few rotations, but apart from that, I don't really see any kind of engagement just yet.
Her spot right now is still a powerful one because she's able to cut off Mons, that Cade in motorbike. Because if Mons, she's safe where she is right now, but if she steps 2 steps to the right outside of that door, Lola will be able to effectively cut her off and, shoot at her legs or whatever she wants to shoot.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, we do have a breach in the dirt tunnel, which should allow another avenue for the push for the attack, where Diana is actually just holding her position, and maybe Finite will be able to do some work. I did hear a knock-knock on Kotari's X-Cairo. So that is the blue hatch opened up. Funnily enough, no contention whatsoever for the kitchen, for the bar hatch. It's just at this point just waiting for the right moment. Mom's throw it in another kite charge. He hopes to be able to bandit trigger. Kite trigger, and well, quite successfully so. There will be another attempt. Kortari needs to coordinate it a little bit better, but instead it's Aussie that will be just going in for the breach. I believe the EMP charge is just enough, but yeah, there you go. There's the breach. So at the very least, the bar hatch has been opened up, and there's still another chance at opening up the kitchen tunnel, but it looks like neither of the attackers are actually looking forward to it. So they have just enough of the push, and actually Saren is already going in. Going absolutely huge as well in the blue tunnel and taking full control of it with Weird One and Finite off the board.
But it is Diana who's going to be swinging from that dirt tunnel, able to finish off Saren and that killing spree from the Sophia.
Yeah, Mons does get traded out and downed after claiming the life of Aussie, and Soy is now the last person standing, trying to clutch it out. 10 seconds, still very much workable, but right now a swing from Sav will be ensuring that that is not going to be happening. Elevate with already 3 rounds in a row, and well, this seems like they finally found their momentum here, given first round has been a little bit on the sloppier side.
I'm a little bit disappointed to see, Forbidden's reaction time almost to Elevate's push, because Elevate is by no means pushing fast in any way. They're going in very standard, opening up that dirt tunnel, slowly, methodically, opening up those hatches and pushing down that blue engine. Nothing is really that surprising or that rush-like, so Forbidden, especially with a Valkyrie, should be able to respond in time. If they're not able to utilize their intel properly through those cameras or even through that barbed wire, I think Forbidden really have some coordination issues to really iron out, or maybe some some intel issues to iron out.
Yeah, communication certainly seeming to be a little bit on the lackluster side here for Forbidden, comparative especially to their performance during previous clubhouse. Actually, matter of fact, let me have a look. What was the general match record for that matchup? So, women, because what I think, at least from my memory, we did see Elevate take like a few rounds, then it was Forbidden who were taking a chunk of the rounds, so it wasn't like a back and forth trade. But what I'm thinking is maybe, yeah, there it is, Forbidden on Clubhouse. Yeah, so it was 2 rounds for Elevate, 1 round for Forbidden, 1 round for Elevate, 2 rounds for Forbidden, 1 round Elevate, 1 Forbidden, 1 Elevate, Forbidden, and then it was a trade. So, yeah, I'm thinking maybe we shall be seeing soon enough a Forbidden round win, but the way how right now they feel all disconnected from each one another feels, gives off a few alarming signs.
Yeah, Forbidden will definitely need to be looking at taking this round to be their win if they really want a chance to almost have an opportunity to come back to this map, because they are on defense, and defense is normally a little bit more advantageous for a team, purely because you have some strats, you can iron out your defense literally quite well, especially if you're able to utilize those gadget denials, those breach denials, and kill off the appropriate amount of drones, so the attackers can't really intel themselves in. But at this rate, Forbidden isn't really taking a lot of aggressive action. They're more like waiting for Elevate to play into them so they can react appropriately, which isn't really working out for them at this point.
It feels a little bit stagnated here for the most of it by both parties. Soy just still kind of holding back at the main stairs with Finite. Weird One does manage to find the shot onto Lola, so that is the main, the Ash off board, the main aggressor. All down to Saren to really try to find an opening frag here. Should be able to see just the pixels of the toes of the castle, so maybe a pre-fire could be very much warranted here, but I apart from that, even Forbidden are not really going for any kind of aggression, apart from the fact that Mons is making a rotation, but Finite and Soy are still there. Actually, matter of fact, where is Soy? Soy is back at the
going
pool.
For a C4, just in case.
Yeah, Soy is waiting for a C4 from below, which will definitely throw in a spanner in the works, with Saren now downed as well. This is looking a little bit alarming. Finally, Sav does manage to go in for the swing, and so does manage to find the frag. Cortari goes in for another one as well. Finite trying to get the frag and will be getting it with the C4. Now it's all down to herself, Diana, and Soy to try to make a play. Ozzy will be trying to go in for the plant, and the C4 will not be coming out to no avail, so now it's a retake time.
Diana does get downed by Sav, and this is Sav going once again, still on a double kill. Can this be her quadra kill again? Members of Forbidden are trying to push up main stairs. They do have that angle covered on Elevate side. Oh, Forbidden's just lining up. No, Soy managed to deagle down Aussie Elevate, but ultimately it will be Saren to take down Soy. Oh, that was almost detrimental, you know, with the way Forbidden was lining up on those main stairs. I genuinely thought it was going to be round over at that point.
Yeah, that was a very juicy lineup that Forbidden pulled off there, but didn't really work out, unfortunately. Well, for Aussie, rather, it's unfortunate, but either way, still a 4-0. That is quite a dominant scoreline already to achieve by Elevate, especially in the playoffs, so things are quite looking up for them, especially on their opponent's map pick as well. So, at this stage, a few concerns can be raised. More so just at the fact that Elevate are winning out their rounds on attack rather than defense, where usually we so used to kind of call out saying this is where the main gain of the points will happen.
Yeah, most of the time on defense, you know, even if you're versing a team who is statistically more likely to win than you still would be aiming to take at least maybe 1 to 2 rounds away from them before the rounds get swapped over, because as it is, for Forbidden, when they swap over onto attack, it will be a lot harder of a job to guarantee those rounds as compared to right now when they're on defense and they're able to, almost like execute out pre-planned strategies. Whereas for attack, a lot of the times it's very reactive and you're looking for picks, you're looking for opportunities, you're looking to see where the weakness in the defense is.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah. And right now, defense of Forbidden certainly not looking too hard. Diana is looking to maybe redeem that with a cheeky spawn pick. That red dot I adore. The renewed red dot sight for some of the guns is honestly, I think, one of the better ones and one of the cleaner ones. But after an unfortunate spawn peek attempt, well, won't be seeing any kind of success. Already some breaching happening by Cortari. She's not wasting any time there, and well, to be frank, nobody will be even trying to prevent her. No Kayad there, so quick and easy breach. Now the main thing is going to be getting rid of Finite's position.
Yeah, Finite definitely needs to be able to deny these bandit breaches, and she surely doesn't have an easy task of this. Meanwhile, Lola manages to get that flank Mons down. That's the Wamai picked up. I'm not quite sure what Mons was doing. Normally you would stereotypically see the Wamai on the rafters because they have, those regenerating magnet charges. But as it is, Mons does get taken down, and it is the Wamai. The breach on the CCTV wall does get opened up. Finite not able to deny this wall once again.
Yeah. Right now, Saren has a unique opportunity to just get the kill into Castle. Well, Lola steals that away with just another white swing right onto the position of the castle, and right now goes in for the hunt onto Soy. Soy does manage to read into that play and decides to fall back, but right now all of the lineup of Forbidden is actually just falling apart continuously, and it's just all down to Soy. Soy does manage to trade out Sav before going down, but Saren is just going absolutely hard with that LMGE. And, well, that's the 5th round. So far, it's seeming to be like Elevate are not intending to give away any rounds or give any kind of advantage to their opponents. They want to solidify that grand final as promptly as possible.
Yeah, Forbidden really need to pick up the pace, because at this rate, we are potentially looking at a clean 7-0 for Elevate on Forbidden's map pick, which is definitely not what Forbidden will surely be aiming for. things aren't really looking good for Forbidden. A lot of these rounds, it's almost like they're still being taken by surprise by Elevate's push, because Elevate is going for more of a how do I say this? A one directional push. A lot of the times when it comes to teams pushing an attack,
Attackers
you'll
need
see
to
them
locate
push
and
from
defuse bombs.
left, right, and center, all these sorts of directions. Whereas Elevate is preferring to send maybe one or two people on the flank watch, and the rest of the manpower all the way at the front, and they're just almost bursting through with just sheer manpower, which is definitely overwhelming Forbidden, because I don't think they were expecting it still.
Yeah, I think this is the reason why Forbidden were able to get a fair few rounds in their previous matchup against Elevate, where Elevate were just going for somewhat one-sided pushes, or rather were fairly well projecting as to where they're going to push and where they're going to go. Whereas here they are, like you said, introducing that kind of that unexpected variable, unexpected flank in the form of, well, in the previous round it was Lola who was playing as Twitch. This time it could be Lola, it could be even Saren once again to go in for some of the flanks and just to go for some of the rather more unexpected swings. So definitely a few things could really occur here, and I'm quite curious whether this would really work out or not, because, well, Forbidden need at least a single round to get for themselves, to at least have some kind of a buffer to really play around.
Yeah, if Forbidden do lose this round and they go into the attacking side without a single round under their belt, the chances of being able to claim that clubhouse away from even just a flawless 7-0 is going to be definitely not to their favor.
Yeah. Any kind of round, any further round disadvantage is certainly going to pretty much put a nail in a coffin of Forbidden's attempt at making a comeback here. But for now, Lola trying to just utilize the grenade rather to, I'm not sure, I'm guessing to get rid of both the camera and the barricade, but she knows that there might be somebody sitting around, that is weird one playing around. She has full knowledge of the position of Nook as well, and knows when the Mozzie could get rid of the mop here, but meanwhile it was a trade between Saren and Soy, so full control nonetheless of the blue tunnel. And right now Savka going for a mad swing here, straight onto Finite. Finite taking quite some glorious amount of damage at this point. And this is slowly but surely falling apart. Diana could be having a nice cheeky angle to hold onto the blue tunnel for the last few moments, but apart from that, really, there might be already a push just about to start happening once the rest of Elevate figures out the remaining positions of the last three defenders. So there's one in Dirt Tunnel, one in the church, one is just outside basement, but Guattari finishes her off, and, well, all down to Mons and Diana.
Mons and Diana have shown in the past that they are able to clutch these moments back. However, Diana does get taken down by Sav, who is on a double kill at this point. Lola gets some damage taken into her, but it is Mons all by herself who needs to clutch the round. She gets that first kill onto Lola, the second onto Sav, but she doesn't manage to quite finish off Guattari, who manages to take down Mons and thus ending Forbidden's defending rounds.
There it is, yeah. Just a mop running through. Ah, yes. I love that skin. I'm gonna say that. I adore it.
It's such a random meme skin that's like effective and so beautiful.
It is by far probably going to be the most distracting thing to see, but at the same time, this is going to be the most tilting thing to witness and to die to if you do end up dying. Yeah, it's just a mop running through. Exactly what Lola said, yeah. Well, with all the memes, unfortunately for Lola's play here ending, at least for this map, we are going to be seeing a side switch at a 6-0 scoreline, which is looking a little bit,
Defenders, protect your bombs from
a little bit concerning here for Forbidden.
Yeah, I really don't envy the position that Forbidden is in right now, because it almost feels like all hope is lost. It's an extremely tall order to, go for a comeback victory at this point because they will need to win 6 attacking rounds in a row. Mind you, Elevate did that, so it is possible. But Forbidden will need to replicate that, as well as if they want to, take out this map for themselves, win out the overtime as well, which is going to be a lot of rounds won in a row, which is almost statistically quite unlucky because any small mistake will mean that Elevate will be able to get that 7-round win and be the winner of pop-outs.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse.
Yeah, this could very much be the final round before we're going to be seeing a map number 2, but all is not lost yet. But yeah, there's still technically a chance for everything to really happen, and well, I would imagine that Forbidden will try to take each and every chance for that. But I have a question for you. Whilst we're still kind of on a slight downtime, do you reckon it is just Elevate being fully activated, or do you reckon it's just not Forbidden's day?
I was going to say, I didn't think Elevate was that activated either after watching that first round on attack, but Elevate have definitely, woken up at this point, and their coordination and communication is, the standard that we've been seeing this entire time. I definitely think Forbidden is a little bit frazzled when it comes to, especially facing off against Elevate on their map pick, down in rounds. I, really don't envy their morale at this point. It's going to be a tough comeback. I definitely think Forbidden isn't having the best day. We've definitely seen players of Forbidden play better than this. So I'm hoping that maybe it's just a morale thing. Maybe they're still taking time to warm up their shots. Maybe the next map will show us a different result. So only time can tell.
Sure will, yeah. We'll have to see. It's certainly feeling like, there's a few maybe communication issues happening because, Forbidden did show us before a pretty well-mannered game plan. Oh, interestingly enough, there will be actually a plan down and, an unsuccessful bandit trick from Sav, which will be resulting in a wall being open and nearly losing her life as well. So this is actually looking somewhat similar to what Elevate were doing to Forbidden whilst Elevate were on attack. So Sawyer right now needs to be extra careful, does see the body of Sav and manages to finally shut her down. So that is a solid beginning for their attack round. But right now with the C4 going off as well, that is going to scare Soy the ever-living heck out. But apart from that, really, there's still plenty of job to be done as the Weird One will be trying to get the breach going. And funnily enough, no crossfire to be done here, whilst Lol is just going to be trying to be the one to try to sow some chaos from a few of those rotation points.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lola does manage to take down Mons with that new 1.5x sight. What Elevate would have been doing in this position was they would definitely be securing that rafter position, and I definitely agree with that choice of play, because as it is, you're just going to be free picking for members of Elevate. Soy proves this. However, that breach opened up in construction, manages to be the downfall of Lola. She gets down, not quite finished, but I don't believe she'll be able to get picked up. A trade comes out. All these kills are happening so fast. Lola is still dying, bleeding on the ground. It is just going to be Finite left alone. She doesn't have time to put the bomb down or kill the members of Elevate, and it will be Elevate taking round 7, taking the victory on Clubhouse in a flawless manner as well, might I add.
Yeah, you could say they managed to elevate themselves to a map point and series point here in this semi-final. And going into their own map pick is certainly going to be quite a potent way to start things off. Sav on a double digits, 11-3. Now that is one way to flex the scoreline. And yeah, like you said, a flawless game on map number 1 for Elevate is that's definitely one way to kick things off there for themselves. They still have one more map at the very least to play out, so which is going to be Cafe. But oh man, yeah, this is looking like a very dominant performance here from Elevate.
I feel like Forbidden took that attack quite standard. They managed to actually achieve a lot of the objectives that you would want when you're going for that cache CCTV push. They managed to open up the breaches. They actually opened up construction as well, which is something that Elevate did not do, I believe, the entire time. Potentially speaking, they did have more angles available in their arsenal. However, something that Elevate did that was very successful every single time was going for that rafters take, because once they secured that rafters, and it was normally 1 to 2 kills with securing rafters as well, which definitely helped out with the man count. They were able to get all these angles available so that they were able to get the bomb down. Whereas I feel like for Forbidden, they were just opening angles for the sake of it. They weren't really thinking about how to utilize these angles to, effectively plant the bomb in this case. Because I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe Finite was still repelled outside of the CCTV wall. If they really wanted to go for a plant 2 construction, Finite repelling there wouldn't have done a lot of things. Sure, she would have cut off the entire rotation to CCTV, but she would have achieved that through any other angle possible. And with that breach being opened up, that's already enough perceived pressure that the defenders would be careful of that anyways. So her repelling there is almost a little bit of a waste. Sorry, I went on a little analytical rant at that point. I just needed to get it off my chest.
Yeah, no, that's always welcome, some analytical rants. But yeah, overall, bit of an unfortunate performance for Forbidden. Maybe they will be able to redeem themselves on Cafe, but we shall see that in just a short few moments whilst we are going to be prepping the second map for you, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned as we are going to be returning with some more season just after this break.
Yeah.
Drinking and smoking yourself, don't even wanna try. Make room for somebody else. Oh, I just wanna hide out from under all these indecisions. Oh, make room for somebody else. Circling the edge, way up high. Don't know if I'll ever have a useful alibi. Gone too far to stop. Yeah, I'll try. Flying, crashing, looking for a perfect suicide. Circling the edge. Circling the edge.
to escape. It will take you home. When you're walking on the moon, walking on the moon, chase your happy place. It will change your groove. When you're dancing on the moon, dancing on the moon. When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel when you take me to some levels that I've never been. When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel when you take me to some places that I've never been. When we dance again, that I've never been, that I've never been, that I've never, ever, never, ever, 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 never been.
Walking on the moon.
One moment to escape. It will set you home. When you're walking on the moon,
Walking on the moon.
chase your happy place. It will change your groove. When you're dancing on the moon, dancing on the moon. When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel when you take me to some levels that I've never been. When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel when you take me to some places that I've never been. When we dance that I've never been, that I've never been, that I've never, ever, never, ever, 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 never been. You should know better than to write me off. Consider this a teaching moment.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the semi-final number 1. That is the Elevate versus Forbidden Gaming. Cthulhu and Pi still on the microphone. And Pi, we so far had a very dominant series from Elevate that did result in a 7-0. Any kind of initial impressions, thoughts going into map number 2?
I mean, if Elevate was deciding to go out with a bang, they definitely did. They certainly asserted their dominance over the course of 6 defending rounds, as well as the 6 attacking rounds and 1 defending round. Sorry, my bad. They showed, excellent coordination. Some of their pushes were a little bit questionable, but obviously their gunplay was more than enough to make up for it. Some clearly stood out. They definitely had a few fraggers. They also went that double breach, which means that they definitely learnt from the mistakes they committed last time when they were versing Forbidden on Clubhouse. So I'm interested to see how, the Elevate and Forbidden matchup will be going into our next map.
Yes, definitely. Actually, talking about maps, let's have a look at all the maps so far. So we already just witnessed Clubhouse to be played out. That was the 7-0. Now coming up is the Cafe, which is Forbidden Gaming's map pick, actually. And then if Forbidden do end up coming out clutch and winning out Cafe, we will be seeing Villa. But as it stands, with the fact that Elevate have right now the momentum, things are certainly looking much more favorable for them, but we've seen a fair few times when teams were able to make a bit of a return, a comeback here. So my faith is not lost yet in Forbidden.
Yeah, over the course of not even just this tournament, just tournaments in general in Siege, I agree with you. There have definitely been instances where one team has gotten almost, flawless 7-0 on the first map. However, after a short break, regrouping, recollecting their thoughts and looking over their mistakes they made in the following map, they actually, took it back and made a massive comeback. So this is entirely possible to see Forbidden maybe take out Cafe and maybe move on to Villa as the overtime decider.
Yes. Well, let's have a look at the Cafe Dostoevsky before we get straight into it. And it's going to be Forbidden Gaming to kick things off on attack, with Elevate to begin on defense. So it's going to be a continuous, I suppose, trend for Elevate, given that they've just finished Clubhouse on the defense. So now they are going to be continuing the defense here as well on the Cafe. And I believe we hopefully will get... Ooh. Okay, we just got a bit of a technical difficulty there, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we can get things up and running in just a short few moments. But that is a bit of an unfortunate kind of event. We going to be fixing things up in just a moment, but that gives us a little bit more time to theory craft, maybe to talk about what needs to be done here by Forbidden and Elevate to grant themselves the victory here on map number 2. Any kind of thoughts on what needs to be maybe changed for Forbidden here? You did mention some things about it during Clubhouse, but maybe care to elaborate overall about it?
Yeah, sure. Well, it will be a little bit different on Cafe, seeing as Forbidden last time started on defense, whereas Elevate started on attack. This time on Cafe, they'll be doing a little bit of a switcheroo, where Forbidden will be starting on, I believe it is attack, and Elevate will be on defense. So it'd be good to see, maybe some strengths come out from Forbidden, seeing as, this is the map where they need to pull out everything that they have to show us what they've got. Otherwise, they could, they're definitely going to be headed for the losers bracket, and the chance of getting first or second is definitely dashed. So, things that I would like to see come out of Forbidden is definitely proper communication, because something that we mentioned in Clubhouse was that Forbidden seems to be taken by surprise a lot of the times by Elevate's pushes. Elevate's pushes seem to happen almost randomly, and when they do, there's 3 to 4 members stacked up, ready to refrag out each other, which is something that Forbidden, I don't believe, is aware or prepared for. So, something that maybe Forbidden should be able to utilize is proper intel usage, which on the attackers would be proper droning, making sure their drones don't get destroyed, for free essentially. And a lot of the times that does mean, conserving your drone during your prep phase, which is something I actually see a lot of teams and a lot of people who don't really utilize that.
Yeah, droning has been a bit of a reoccurring thing to talk about here, really, between quite a fair few teams. Even teams like Elevate, like Kingswomen, occasionally had a few lackluster rounds where they just weren't really droning it out too thoroughly, or just letting some of the peak sleep. English, please. Go through. There we go. We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
Brain decided to just shut down full on. But yeah, slip through and just completely deny any kind of round win. So yeah, a few things could really happen here. Just as an update as well for everyone, we are setting the lobby back up and running. It's just, fortunately, a few technical difficulties do still end up following around Siege, which is a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, we'll have to see. We are just gonna go quickly throw to a short break whilst we are fixing things up a little bit. But stay tuned. We are gonna make a return here in just a short few moments.
Siege. Yeah, I've heard of it, and I am the GOAT. When I'm attacking, no room is safe. Doors. Yeah, I think I remember them. Before I discovered Windows, the thinking man's door. I've come up with something I like to call a spawn kill. You've probably never heard of it. Because when I'm in defense, nobody gets in my bank. Teammates. Droning. Listen, I've got all of the intelligence I need right here. My only team is me, my gun, and my skills.
Everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I. Everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I. You and I.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back finally after a few rehosts. Both of the teams are already ready. It is Cafe Dostoevsky, Forbidden Gaming to attack. Yes, they are going to be attacking, and then on OT, it's going to be Elevate to attack. Should we need to go on the overtime? Quickly have a peek at the cafe, and well. Good luck, have fun. Hopefully, no crashes this time, and hopefully, we'll get everything on the roll. We actually did already go through as well the ban phases as well whilst we were away, and that is Thatcher, Hibana, Mira, and Echo that will be banned out and won't be seeing any action. Any kind of thoughts on how things could really shape up from here on out?
I'm a little bit curious about the Hibana ban. I'm going to be 100%. A lot of the times, Hibana is effective. It's an effective ban in Cafe because there are a few sites where the hatches are really important to deny. And unless you're running a Cade and unless you've banned a Thatcher, a lot of the times those hatches are just a huge pain. But I am curious to see because now Hibana is not the only operator with those, mini hard breaching gadgets anymore. We do have attackers who have the secondary gadget, the secondary hard breaching gadget. So I'm curious to see. We didn't get a lot of showcase in it in Clubhouse, but maybe Cafe will show us another side of it.
Yeah, hopefully we will be seeing some of that secondary hard breach gadget. Oh, funnily enough, Forbidden didn't really opt into bringing one in here. Meanwhile, for Elevate, well, they're just setting things up. They are rolling off a really nice momentum, or rather morale boost after a 7-0 on Clubhouse. But this is, I believe, Forbidden's map pick, so hopefully for Forbidden they should be able to grant themselves a little bit more rounds here, because otherwise things might be looking a little bit grim for the attack.
Yeah, grim is definitely the word to use. Forbidden will definitely need to be able to have a decisive win on Cafe as well, because as you said, it is their map. They have shown us a lot of performance on Cafe that have been extremely dominating, to say the least. So we really need to see repeat performance come out from Forbidden's side so that they can go into the overtime, so that they'll be able to still get a chance to be in the running for first or second.
Yeah, they still need to do quite a fair bit of work. Not only they need to win out this map, they also will have to play out map number 3 should they win this map as well. So things will be still on the upward spiral here for Forbidden, but let's see how things will really work out here, because we already see quite a dump of the grenades happen right at Cortari's position, who is trying to contest that pixel angle, but at the moment her ballistic shield is still very much in full safety.
Yeah, and that's one of the strengths of having the Ramai hold pixel angle, because the operator is able to churn out all these magnets to be able to almost suck up all these projectiles that the attackers will no doubt be throwing in an attempt to destroy this deployable shield, because as it is, that shield does give Cortari a very excellent vantage spot and a really nice swap around from Cortari and Saren. Cortari is probably like, oh, my shield got blown, I need someone to cover the pixel angle, and Saren as a smoke is the perfect operator for that.
Yeah, very good, very swift switch around of the position. Certainly going to be allowing a few good things here for the push, but right now there's still plentiful amount of space that is yet to be defended. Saren's new play is going to be coming out very shortly, and right now she could pretty much body Mons in just a short few moments. That is till the attempt at breach will be coming down. That is another brimstone charge will be going down, and well, that is the only breaching charge. Meanwhile, Soy does find the shot onto Cortari, so that is a solid opening overall here for Forbidden Gaming. Well, Soy does meanwhile manage to trade out Lola, and right now in a 3v4 situation things are certainly not looking too pretty. I believe Pies Internet has gone back into the shadow realm, so fingers crossed we shall get our wonderful Pi back up and running. But for the time being, Finite gonna try to score herself an opening from one of the windows, but Aussie does manage to score herself a double kill. Saren will get knifed, and now with 8 seconds remaining, it's down to Finite actually, as Diana does go down. There's a swing, finds the kill, 1v1 situation, does see the Maestro and does land the shot. Finite finally breaking the curse after the full flawless map number 1, does manage to finally score out, and a nice clutch in a 1v2 situation. Well, that was a very close round, but thankfully for Forbidden, it's not going to be starting in the same fashion as it was on Clubhouse, so there's still plenty of ways to really work around it. Fingers crossed here for Forbidden that they will be able to keep up the momentum here for themselves. Otherwise, Elevate are very well known for just being able to completely shut things down and run away with just another set of rounds to be won. So I have to see how things will really roll out here. Another bar defense will be brought on board, as Forbidden did manage to take the first round. So Elevate's attempt at the bar hold could potentially be a huge... sorry, not a huge, rather just another attempt at it, given that it was a little bit sloppy. And similar thing did really happen in Clubhouse, where their first round was definitely a little bit on the sloppy side, albeit it was on their own offense. But here, beginning was definitely a very formidable one. Some good utility positioning, but apart from that, really, some of the gunfights that were taken were not particularly too favorable. So let's see if Elevate will be able to play that card just a little bit more tactically, I'm guessing would be the right word here. We'll have to see. For the time being, Qatari also bringing in a mute this time as well, just to deny some information gathering that the attack could be doing here. And, well, a Capcan as well to introduce another unknown variable to the overall composition should really make things a whole lot tougher for the attack to really keep track of. Another drone will be taken out, as right now Diana thinking that there is somebody really up close, but in reality it's just Lola being able to shut things down before any kind of information is being gathered. Soy, meanwhile, on the vertical play, does manage to get rid of Qatari, so that is minus the MP5 and the C4. So once again, a solid opening for Forbidden, but hopefully we shall be seeing a continuation here for themselves further down the line. Already a breach into the small bar, into the mini bar rather, will be coming down, so that is another avenue to be opened up for Forbidden Gaming, and Mons will be, well, hopefully assisted by Diana to try to get rid of that pesky ballistic shield. Oh.
Sorry about that. I just went to Narnia, pretty much. You know, I don't even know what to say. I'm just trying to get my head back in the game.
God.
All I see is Sawyer, you know, instantly getting thrown by these Capcan traps, and I think she actually got down by a Capcan trap. I'm
Yes.
not. Yeah.
So she repelled into one of them and then ran into another Capcan at the double door and got herself down. No. So yeah, at least she didn't straight away die to the explosion. But yeah, being already at the 20 HP is certainly not the best case scenario here.
Yeah, Lola from the death screen still managing to get that impact in, which is one of the benefits of picking a Capcan. You really don't know when those traps will get triggered. And for someone quite aggressive and someone who's not checking their angles properly, they're just going to be free pickings. Speaking of... I just see Soy dying to the Capcan trap in the distance. But Diana is going in so strong, managing to get in her own frags of the day, and it's all just going to be Sav, the one lonely member left in Elevate, left to clutch up this round.
And there it is, round 2 to be taken by Forbidden, and oh, that's already a 2-0 scoreline. we are just going to be checking if there will be a rehost. Yeah, it seems that there will be a... So, already with 2 rounds advantage, we are unfortunately going to be going on yet another rehost in hopes of fixing things up as we go. But still, that gives us a little bit of a time to talk really about how things so far unveiled, because really Forbidden Gaming were very confident on how and where they push and where they take those engagements as well, because I'm not too sure at which point you've cut out on the first round, but first round essentially resulted in Elevate just going kind of, hey, we did a really good rotation back to the side. We did manage to default, and then they died to some of the peaks, namely of Soy. Soy was one of the first few people who was doing some really good entry fragging and some good openers, but apart from that, pretty much apart from that, yeah, it was just both of those rounds kind of won by the frags, and a solid beginning. All I can say really here for Forbidden.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the image of Soy dying to a Capcom trap out of my head, especially after you saying that, she was such a pivotal frag member in round 1, which I missed. I think it was Monzon Sophia who was about to go for an impact onto the deployable shield, and my game just was like, nope, good night. I can't take this anymore. But no, yeah, just when we were talking about Soy getting down by the Capcan traps and how Capcan is still effective even from the grave, just off in the distance as Dia is fragging out, you see Soy going boom.
Yeah. Yeah, Soy ran into 3 consecutive Capcan traps, which is probably the most unfortunate she could have actually gotten with all of her setups, which, let's face it, it's never a fun time whenever you end up running into a Capcan trap, the one that, amidst all of the chaos as well, that is being sown by your own team.
Yeah, a lot of the times when I hit a Capcan trap, it's like, I swear my teammate just ran through this exact same door. How do I get hit by the Capcan trap? But it's like, oh, maybe I should just check my angles better. Maybe I should have just droned it out better, which is, most definitely the way to take around a Capcan trap, especially when you've been down by a Capcan trap already. It's something you definitely want to be keeping your eyes open for. But all in all, it was an excellent second round that I managed to catch from Forbidden. That was a very decisive end as well.
Yeah. It was a very decisive win nonetheless. We are going to be going yet again, unfortunately, on a short ad break just to fix things up, and fingers crossed we are going to be back in just a short few moments. Don't go too far away, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be continuing with some more Siege in a short few minutes.
Thinking out the best way. I'm not thinking out the best way. I'm not thinking out the best way to save them. I'm not thinking out the best way.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally back. Hopefully, from here on, we won't be having any technical difficulties. So far, though, we are still Cthulhu and Pi on the microphone. Firstly,
Yep.
Secondly, so far Forbidden Gaming had a 2-round streak on Bar and Cocktail Lounge, and third time's the charm may be here for Elevate, but if they will lose out on this round, this is certainly going to be a very tough matchup here for them, especially after a 7-0 victory in Clubhouse.
Yeah, a lot of the times, when a team gets on defense, when a team loses out the site 2 times in a row, you'll see them actually swap around to maybe a different site just to, see if it'll throw off the attackers or see if it'll just reset the momentum. So I'm actually quite curious to see, Elevate going for a triple down in this case, back onto the bar and cocktail site. Interesting to see if anything different will come up. I have noticed that there is no Capcat this time, so maybe that could be an indicator.
Yeah, well, they swapped off Capcan onto Legion here, and, they keeping the rest of the roster pretty much just about the same. No more Maestro as well, funnily enough, so they are returning back to the similar kind of lineup of bringing in the Womai as well, and just spamming the whole of the piano room with the Womai disc. So curious if that will really work out and land. But well, what did definitely land is Lola's Black Eye. That should be able to give plentiful amount of information on the outsides of the cafe. But apart from that, really should be just a bit of a slow start here for the attack, as they're just going to be rappelling up on the rooftop and see what kind of initial damage can they set themselves up with.
Yeah, and Cafe is such a great map for Valkyrie to be chosen on, especially for that top floor bar and cocktail, because, the Valkyrie could throw potentially cameras up onto the roof where Soy is currently right now, and, the Valkyrie cameras could go outside. The outside terrain of Cafe is quite a messy terrain as well, where it's quite difficult to spot things, which means that any Valkyrie cameras that land outside are normally quite difficult to spot unless you have an IQ or exceptionally sharp eyes. And with these cameras outside, it really allows the defenders to be on the aggressive. They'll be able to know which side the attackers are pushing from, maybe go for some runouts, maybe go for some aggressive peeks, which could definitely, change the way how Forbidden will be playing.
Yeah. Well, talking about seeing a little bit of a change, Soy once again and Diana will be trying to go in for the push. Diana is very much now paranoid about that run out after that kind of a simulated, I suppose, run out from Kortari, which didn't really bring anything. And right now it's just a bit of a waiting game. There is some presence in the cocktail room, and finally Ballistic Shield did go down, but it does leave Aussie in a little bit of a predicament, as now she did manage to fall back. There is an engagement in the cocktail as well, but that is Finite's job here to try to wedge out that Valkyrie's position.
Yeah, even just holding that angle entirely is quite a strong angle for Finite to be able to cut off any rotation that Lola could potentially go for. However, Finite does take a lot of damage going for that swing onto Lola, so she's going to have to be a bit careful about how she peeks this now.
Yeah, definitely we'll have to see how it'll really work out. Finally, we do see some kills coming out. Kortari and Saren doing quite some work here, as well as Aussie getting on board with the frags, and all down to Finite and Diana to try to clutch it out. Finite is really low on health, and Diana's position could be exposed pretty quickly. There's the sound cue as well. There's the peak. Kortari about to pressure her from behind, as well as that. Saren is ready, all prepped and ready. Now Elevate will be able to respond with a flawless round after the two remaining after two previous rounds.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about, the aggressiveness that the Valkyrie can allow the defenders to play with. With that additional intel, it's something that they can definitely utilize effectively, and they can, be able to understand where the attackers are pushing from and react according to that.
Yeah, definitely we'll have to see whether this will really work out. But I believe we have a slight change around of the casting talent here, as I believe Pi's internet has just had a little bit of a oopsie once again. But I believe we have a wild mill boss appear.
I see that. Millbox. My name's still been that in this Discord the entire time. I completely forgot that was even a thing, but it is in fact me joining back into the women's. Like, it's been a while, but it's good to be back, and I'm excited to see the rest of this series go down. I was lucky enough to cast a few of Elevate's games during the Intel Gamer Days just the other weekend, so seeing them going up against some of the rest of the talent in the women's league this season should be a lot of fun.
10 seconds left.
Yeah. So far, I mean, Forbidden was able to kick things off really well for themselves on the attacking side for Cafe. They had a pretty solid job. They've done a pretty solid job of isolating some of those gunfights into 1v1s and then taking them pretty confidently. But last round, I mean, Elevate just kind of managed to play in their favor rather and just keep staying together and keep setting up those crossfires, which subsequently just granted them the dub, I suppose.
Well, let's see if they can't get it going again for their second defensive round win. As already Forbidden is starting to make their approach towards the bakery and starting to make things uncomfortable here for Aussie. Can she hold on though?
And we'll have to see, because right now Lola did manage to find on the opposite side the frag, so that is the flank actually completely denied, I believe. No, that is actually just a spawn peek from up above, never mind. But nonetheless, still quite a painful thing to deal with. Funnily enough, Forbidden are actually not really going for any kind of flank. They going for somewhat of a one-sided push and just hoping that they can take those gunfights.
Here we go, this two-player push, three-player push, really. Serenity's going to come out and find one, but the Ash is too much for Aussie there. Serenity's going to find a second one as well and able to relocate and reload. Still with over half HP. Diana and Weird One very low themselves, so this is not going to be easy in a 2 versus 5 situation. A total of about 50 HP, if even that, these two players remaining on Forbidden. So Elevate look like they're about to level the scoreline here.
Yeah, Elevate looking pretty good here, finally managing to regain the momentum after a very dominant, by the way, 7-0 on Clubhouse as well, which was quite a roll and a half. Diana could be knowing where the general whereabouts of Lola, but right now the health advantage is certainly not in her favor, and well, Lola will be proving that very thing. Goes in for the swing onto Weird One, but just can't seem to be able to find it, and it's rather Saren to finish things off. Like you said, Milboss, the scoreline will be leveled here.
Yeah, great round from Serenity there, just using all of the cover that she had available to her. Is able to close out the round with, I believe, a 3k, if not a 4k there. So, very, very solid there for the Jaeger player. That's the sort of performance you need if you want to be having a solid half. And I guess if you are Elevate right now, 4-2 half is going to be the optimal situation. Give yourselves only 3 rounds to get for the series victory, and of course map 2 as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, can they start to bring their attack back to where it was in the first couple of rounds?
Yeah, that is going to be a pretty big question, given the fact that right now both of the rosters are actually somewhat priming their lineup of the operators for a little bit more of an aggressive play. For Elevate, they brought in the Oryx, who is pretty much at this point a master of just all the rotations and vertical play. And on the side of Forbidden, they actually bring in an Amaru, who in the right hands can be a very momentum-based and a very deadly momentum-based force.
Yeah, momentum is something that I think, classes talk about a lot, but when you're playing it can sometimes get a little bit out of your control if you allow too many relatively easy rounds to go by. And you know, if anything, that last round we saw was a very solid round from Elevate. They kept 4 players alive. So rounds like that are not ones that are fun to lose by any stretch. Momentum can definitely play a massive part in just your whole attack breaking down, especially. And you know, with this new meta, with everything that's happened since the update, people are still, you know, kind of trying to figure it all out and trying to work out what works best for all the buffs that the attacking side has gained. But it's still not 100% crystal clear, and a lot of teams, they're going to take, you know, a couple of weeks before they fully figure it out.
Yeah, still, it's one of those kind of Shadow Legacy right now is in its infancy kind of stage, I suppose, where it's just kind of waiting for the right moment to. It's waiting for the players to figure things out and to know where and how to really play it out. I mean, the moment those secondary heart breaching charges will come into play, this could be a very huge thing, because not only you no longer locked to just those hard breaches, you have a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah.
With that as well, you can do quite some damage to the utility, and it's more so just a question of how quickly the hard breach is going to occur.
Well, speaking of hard breaches, here comes that thermite charge. And Forbidden need to start thinking about mounting their attack. They do have the player advantage. So that's one thing that they weren't able to do successfully in the last round. But I think they're just focusing so much time upstairs, worried about Aussie and the potential roam and flank, that they're not really thinking too much about their actual final assault onto the bomb sites. Because, you know, 1 minute 15 remaining, there's still time. But if you do get too distracted with these roams, it can really hurt you towards the latter half of the round. Soy will find Aussie though. That's a massive kill to find. 4 versus 2 now, reverse of what we just saw. And all that utility is going to get cancelled out, but it doesn't really matter too much. It's not, you know, focused on that bomb site itself. Now can these last 2 players for Elevate hold on? It's not going to be an easy one, that's for sure. But now's a good time to start finding a couple of kills.
Yeah, right now the main issue here is going to be Sav's position, because it is going to get exposed pretty quickly. Qatari still also needs to start going for a rotation, and well, sure does. She does manage to find a frag and goes for a rotation as well, right back into the mining room. So that is a good usage of the Oryx's shoulder, as that thing is apparently made out of, I don't know, whatever the hardest material is, vibranium.
Probably vibranium,
maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, probably vibranium, yeah. At this point, the Oryx is just, he's the equivalent of Captain America. Talking about that, maybe a little bit of a cheeky clutch could be mustered up here. There's another shot, another frag found by Sav, and it's down to a 1v1 position, and Sav just gets a triple. Just like that, just clutches it out. I'm running out of breath, and just, I'm shocked. Forbidden, you had a 4v2, and it vanished.
To choke it like that, I mean, talk about momentum. If anything's going to give you a big momentum boost, and I don't know, a lot of screams in the Discord call, it's going to be a 1 versus 3 like that to clutch out the round in the dying embers. That is huge from Sav. I mean, you pointed out that her positioning wasn't potentially the best it could be before the end of that round. Rotates on through into the dining room, and just with those executed holes in the walls, is able to find all 3 remaining players. That is one way to set up your team for success in the rest of the map.
Yeah, that is going to be a huge morale boost here for Elevate, given that we did go through a little bit of a rough patch for going for, I believe, well, 2 rehosts, really. So there was quite some downtime as well that could have affected the momentum here for both of the teams, really. So, yeah, quite a whole lot of things could have changed. Maybe Elevate when finally managed to get themselves back into the game, because, yeah, the first 2 rounds that did occur were looking like Forbidden would have been able to run away with map number 2 in a similar fashion how Elevate did with a 7-0 on Clubhouse.
5 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, it's definitely the rehost is one factor that can disrupt that momentum or any kind of, you know, strat calls or plans for the rest of the map. You sort of lose focus and can get out of touch, and your shot just isn't the same once you restart. And, especially if it's sometimes multiple in a row, it's not going to be easy. So, for Forbidden here, they really want to make this, at worst, the 3-3 half. Because defensively, on their map pick, I'm assuming based on the sides that these two teams have started on, it's going to be crucial that they're able to give themselves the best opportunity to win it out once we swap sides.
Yeah, well, this is their final chance to really pull it off. Oh, Soy just missed out on one of the rotations that could have been punished so severely here. And Saren, if she would have lost out on her position, that could have been it, but fortunately for her, that's not the case. That is a really nice and long angle as well onto Diana's window, and if she does opt into repelling through it, that could be a demise pretty swiftly, but doesn't look like it. Instead, it's going to be a very stock standard almost breach into the minibar, and Soy to drop down. She has been so far very consistent entry fragger for Forbidden, so curious if she will be able to continue that. I wonder who did that run out. Oh, it was Cortari.
Who else? Let's be honest.
Who else would it? Yeah,
Who
it's
else
the
other than
Jaeger. Yeah, out of all the players, it's the Jaeger, and oh, that is a cheeky angle. Lola, fantastic punishment, but so will she be punished as well by Diana? She was not too careful about figuring out the whereabouts of her opponents.
Well, now a 3 versus 4 as Mons is going to be able to find Serenity. Aussie is going to trade that one out. So just constant trades here, which works out more or less in the defender's favour. And the attackers really want to start getting a much easier run into these bomb sites, because so far, at least in the rounds that I've been casting over, it hasn't been a lot of fun once they finally go for that push towards the bomb sites. So slowing things down though this round. 30 seconds remaining. Forbidden will really want to be getting the running shoes on and get this one underway.
We'll find out. Does manage to find an opening onto Aussie, so that does leave it into a 2v3 situation. Another breach did come through for Weird One, and the plant needs to go down. They have the opening right into the freezer, and right now the swing needs to happen. There's Diana as well to try to assist. Cortari does find the shot. 5 seconds remaining. The plant needs to be stuck. Diana does go down, and so is Weird One. Cortari and Sav once again saved the day.
Yeah, they're getting their backs put into a wall, put into a corner, these Elevate players, and just at the last moment they're able to make it work and able to bring it back into their favour. 4-2 the half. Now we swap sides, and we'll see if on the defensive side of things potentially a comeback could occur, but I'd have to say Elevate are looking very solid right now.
Yeah, seeing there's a few issues for Mons. I'm expecting another rehost to potentially occur here. No, we back. No, we're good. Maestro will be picked for the bar and cocktail lounge. Not a bad operator, but Mons will opt out of that and rather will bring in a Jaeger to try to bring in a little bit more firepower, I suppose. Rather more so a bit more of mobile firepower rather than just an anchor. So not a bad decision for the bar and cocktail, but certainly quite an interesting pick from Elevate as well, seeing as they have brought on board almost a completely different lineup comparative to Forbidden's push.
Well, I think Elevate, after having such a dominant first map, this attack is going to be quite devastating. Once again, I have to assume things. I wasn't here to witness the first map, but I have to assume that they started on the offensive side there. So,
yes,
coming into this one, if they're able to find 6 clean rounds on the attack, you're going to be a bit worried if you're Forbidden.
Yeah, Forbidden, gotta give it to Forbidden though. Even though the clubhouse was a 7-0, they had a few pretty decent setups for their defense as well as the offense, but unfortunately just couldn't close out a few rounds. So, yeah, not probably not the best performance, but it's also partially also due to the fact that Elevate were just seeming to be completely on a whole new level compared to their previous matchup against Forbidden during the regular season, where it was a 7-5 on Clubhouse. And so it was pretty much only a one-round difference between a draw and a win for Elevate there. So definitely quite a change in pace. Maybe Elevate just chugged some of that quantum energy, but only one way to find out. There is some presence. Oh, down below, it will be shut down very swiftly. Fantastic shot by Diana.
Yeah, great start to the round for the defensive side of things, and Diana has had some nice looks towards some of these players up through the hatches. The Skylight almost collecting ahead in that Skylight situation not too long ago. But here we go for Elevate. They're going to want to find an opening pick and sort of work off that. Some shots traded there for Lola. And I'm assuming that was either Diana or Finite there again with the SMG. Diana by the looks of things.
Yeah.
So Diana escaping pretty much every engagement she's had full HP is exactly what they wanted here.
Yeah, that is a perfect setup right now for Diana. Being able to just be that nuisance all over the map, really, and just see if she can take some of the engagements. If it doesn't, just fall back, really, and exactly what she needs. Meanwhile, Monza's position has been fully drawn out. IQ's, in theory, her position should be fairly workable, but we'll have to see. Because right now, the only thing that is being done right now is just the drainage of all of that utility that was at that pixel angle, and Monza's position could be very quickly shut down, but no, completely overturned and goes in for the swing, only downs a Thermite, so he will be back into play, but no, that's a big psych from Diana as she does manage to shut down IQ, and technically, it is a 2v4.
Yeah, Sav downed now after all that's gone down in that short situation there. Lola's going to find Weird One, but gets down themselves. Sav will be picked up here, but it's really all going to be onto Aussie. Diana finds a 3k. Finite's going to find one. And there we go. Forbidden Gaming, they're going to be able to come on through with their first round in a long time.
Yeah, finally being able to shut down the momentum that Elevate will bring it in after, what, a 4-round difference is a huge thing here to accomplish for Forbidden, as they are keeping the scoreline much more competitive comparative to Map 1. It seems that maybe the warm-up has been finally done, and, well, right now we are on round number 8. Gonna go into Reading Room and Fireplace to see where this will lead us, whether it will be a 5-3 or a 4-4 scoreline.
Yeah, 4-4 is definitely what you want if you are coming into this half on the back foot, and of course winning that first opening round sets the tone for the rest of their defensive half. So if they're able to replicate that here, level out the scoreline, Elevate's going to be a little bit scared. Forbidden, they've got a lot of work to do, but they're going to be going for a reading and dining setup. Not super conventional. Usually you see that kitchen being that second preference, but some teams feel very, very comfortable here. So why not play what you know?
I mean, especially if you're able to set a really good defense in the cocktail lounge as well, and have that vertical control right above the reading side, you can do quite a whole lot of damage to the attack, and as well as that, drain out plentiful amount of time, because they need to take pretty much full control of bar, piano, and cocktail before they make any moves. So, fingers crossed for Forbidden that they will be able to find some sort of closure for themselves here as well. But meanwhile, Elevate are going to be getting prepped for a push. There is a presence of Diana around the piano, or rather was, and that should be a free real estate to take. But Soy's position could also be very powerful if she won't be droned out thoroughly.
Yeah, I mean, there's sort of two options here. Soy's going to destroy that drone straight away, so they know someone's very close, but even if Soy does back off, they've put a couple of defenses upstairs to just, delay the process a little bit, and they'll be thinking, okay, potentially, is there someone here that I have to be worried about? So there you see another drone that goes on through. That will spot out Soy's positioning, but it's a very big risk to go for that peak with Soy just hard aiming it like that. She'll reposition now into storage, and this is just going to, once again, slow down the attack. Elevate are going to have to react quickly, and I think Weird One hears someone above her.
Oh. Please tell me she can get a C4 kill here, because that will be a juicy one as well. So much unpunished ground to really be played around here. The Weird One is just, prepping. There's a C4, there's the detonation, and Lola is out of it. Same goes for Saren as well. Fantastic swing by Soy as well to be able to play off that chaos, and a double kill, and that is on Saren and Lola. That is a huge accomplishment here.
So we'll get traded out by Aussie, but in the background, Qatari can't do much more. Weird One's going to find that 2 versus 4 situation. But last time we saw Elevate in a 2 versus 4 on this exact bomb site. Yes, they were defending, but it was Sav to come on through. Got cracked on some Quantum and find the 3k to close out the round. So, and they replicate that in some form. It's going to be Aussie going down, all up to Sav 1v4. Going to be easy here. Finds the first though. There's one more to deal with upstairs. We'll get that as well. And retains full HP. Sav, what are you doing? Just injecting the Quantum into her veins right now. She's going to now be in a position to have yet another clutch on the exact same bomb sites.
Yeah, Sav has been an absolute beast so far. I mean, on Clubhouse, she was the Thatcher main of Elevate, but she was going on an absolute rip across the whole of Forbidden roster, so I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden she would be the one to clutch it out here. There is an engagement coming up. Finite does know that there's going to be a push. Oh, actually gets shut down. That's a triple kill. Plan needs to go down, though, so Weird One needs to go in for the swing very shortly. 3 seconds remaining. The push needs to happen, but the plant will be actually going down, and now the timer is going to be ticking against the defense. So right now, Sav is actually in a really confident position to really play her cards here. Could go for a swing. Could see the Mozzie, and she does clutch it up with another quad kill. Oh my goodness.
A quad kill round from Sav. Again, clutching it out here for Elevate. I thought that the last time she did that, the comms would have been crazy. Imagine right now gets the absolute insane 1 versus 4 to clutch it up. 5-3 your scoreline now.
Oh man. That is one way to just shut down any kind of good morale that there was there for Forbidden. Nah, completely denied. And for that matter, at this point, Sav will be flexing on the rest of the team. Bringing in the fragging ops like Zoff, like Twitch, like Ash. That's all virgin operators. Bring in the Thermite or the Thatcher. Now that is the Chad move.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we can call it a Chad move in Women's League, but nevertheless, it is an alpha move. That's for sure.
It is quite an alpha move, definitely. Yeah.
That's got a sting if you're Forbidden right now. Elevate 2 rounds away from progressing in the competition and making a name for themselves here as one of the top teams, not just in the Women's League, but I think, you've got to be considering, I was talking about with Sukai about this back in the Intel Gamer days, that they are one of those teams that you think, okay, you've been dominating Women's League all season. Is it time to maybe consider stepping up to LPL Pro or something like that and testing the waters there, trying to improve as a squad? They're really
10 seconds remaining.
trying to put the foot down here.
I would be really keen to see Elevate play against some of the LPL Pro teams and see how they will fare there, because I definitely think that Elevate can step up to this kind of challenge, and they could perform pretty well if they keep up the consistency, because usually with a fair few teams, it's more so of a question of how consistent can they be with their results and with their performance, because sometimes a team could be just consisting of the greatest players possible, but if you can't nail down your communications, if you can't nail down your consistency and aim, well, no matter how much you plan it out, that's not going to really work out. And for Elevate, certainly there's a few dips here and there in the consistency, but it seems that they're finally managing to iron it out slowly but surely.
Well, here we go. getting really down to the pointy end of this one. 2 minutes remain in this round at least. Forbidden, they're going to want to replicate their first round and find yet another defensive win. Elevate.
Attackers have located a bomb.
You know, I said how I expect their attack to be relatively dominant based on the results in the first map. Aussie to open up the proceedings here is a good start, and this might just be where Elevate's headed. Their attack might be just that little bit too unstoppable for Forbidden, even though it is their map pick. Life so far hasn't been too easy breezy for them.
Yeah, it seems that they have fallen back to that kind of almost like a crutch of playing almost overly passive here, because their previous few rounds, whenever they were winning, especially on attack, they were going hyper aggressive on some of the swings, and that's what was winning the games for and the rounds for them against Elevate, whereas Elevate just weren't able to counter anything against that. And here Forbidden are once again back to just being almost too passive. Monza's position, though, it's explainable that why she's playing in a bit of a withdrawn kind of playstyle. But even now, the moment the swing is going to come around, it's going to be a bit of a 50-50 coin toss if she's going to win that. And, well, not in this case, because that was already the dub here. Finally, there's a peek out and a run out by Diana, but gets quickly punished by Saren. So, like you said, yeah, Forbidden are certainly not particularly enjoying their life right now here.
Yeah, really just... I don't think it's fair to say that Forbidden have taken their foot off the accelerator, more to the point Elevate have put theirs flat down, pedal to the metal to get into the latter stages of this half. Katara is going to find yet another kill. Finite, can you do what Sav's done twice now and find an insane clutch there? Should have spotted the Ash running on past. That's Lola, and the second player there as well will be pushing on in. That's going to be...
no.
Oh no! Katari just comes on through. Lola to back them up is going to find map series point here for Elevate. Oh, this is all gone haywire.
Yeah, this is certainly not looking particularly too well here for Forbidden after being able to find 3 rounds total for themselves across both of the maps. It's certainly a bit of a rough run here for themselves, albeit that even if they do end up losing here, they still have a chance to battle it out for the 3rd place. So not all is lost for them, but certainly they were probably looking at running away with just a few more rounds comparative to what they got right now so far.
Yeah, it's just really, you know, if you come out of a semi-final, you should be relatively close in standings to an extent. Obviously, again, Elevate's just been pretty dominant the whole season long, but nevertheless, you want to be contesting it a little bit closer. Having it only found 3 rounds in 2 maps so far of Siege is not a pretty scoreline to chuck on that resume for Forbidden. But on the other hand of things, you know, playing devil's advocate, if I will, Elevate, that's a great result to show for themselves as they go towards the grand final. So they're going to be very happy if they're able to close this one out here. Forbidden, it's your last chance to really make things happen and start to kick off that comeback that has eluded you so far.
Yeah, comeback is certainly needs to happen here on the double, because otherwise they're going to be missing out for that grand final spot, or rather the chance for that grand final, really, and try to pull off a comeback here. Meanwhile, for Elevate, they're just looking to shut it down as firmly as possible, but Soy, the person who was able to open up a few rounds for Forbidden, will be shut down right on her rotation as she was trying to get a roam up above, and well, that's 2nd floor completely taken. No contention whatsoever, unless there's going to be a few C4s from up above, from down below rather. Don't see Forbidden take control of that anytime soon.
Yeah, they're just really giving it up at this point, it seems like, and it's not what you want to see in the latter stages of the semi-final. It's not how you'd want a semi-finalist team to be playing here. Some sneaky drone movement there. Not too shabby if you ask me. That being said, why would you ask me? I've got 0 game sense, but nevertheless, as we progress on through. They've gone for a very laid-back defense here. And we'll see if that either hurts or aids them towards the latter stages of this one.
At the moment, it's a bit of a slow game. Elevator just trying to open up as many avenues for the push as possible. Sav already got another opening on the wall, and well, it's Saren to actually kick things off onto the main push. Still hanging up from up above, dishing out some punishment and plentiful amount of information, but there's also some punishment coming out from Mons. So she's able to nearly down Aussie, but does leave her in just about 15 HP. There's still a minute to go, so right now for Forbidden, this could be the final chance, the final countdown before the end of the round.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of players with low HP on this Elevate roster, but I don't think that will necessarily be enough unless they're able to find a definite kill early on here. But Qatari is just going to keep on doing what Qatari does. 6 kills now for the map here. Mons will get 2 back, actually, but Sav coming on through to leave it into 1 versus 3. Mons, what do you have for us here? Playing on the Wamai. Can she pull off a miracle and keep Forbidden in this one? No, it's going to be Serenity to close it out, and there we have it. Elevate are going to be progressing on to the grand final of Season 2 of the Women's League.
They sure will, and with such finesse as well. Very well deserved win here for Elevate, and quite an unfortunate 2-0 loss for Forbidden. Not having particularly the best play day for themselves, especially in the playoffs. It seems that there's that 4th place curse still in place, but well played to Elevate. Both Sav and Saren on 10 kills, and well, gotta give it to Sav. Probably she was, out of that whole matchup, she was the main MVP for me personally after those 2 clutches on the cafe.
Yeah, I mean, you have to give it to Sav for some incredible solo plays to help secure the victory here for Elevate. Does it mean that they wouldn't have necessarily been as good as they were without her getting those rounds? I don't think that's fair to say. I think they would have been just as good, but nevertheless, that was a big impact. And, you know, we mentioned about momentum earlier on in that one. Those are the sorts of rounds that completely swap momentum in your favor.
Yeah, that was... Talking about momentum, yeah, Elevate were just able to completely shut it down the moment that seems that those clutches came around. This is where their whatever the depletion of the momentum that did happen got replenished pretty quickly, and well, yeah, that's what allowed them to keep on pushing, to keep on moving for themselves. But yeah, I mean, congrats to Elevate. Now we do have interviews coming right up, so we are going to be back to them in just a short few moments after a short set of ads, and we are going to be getting some juicy talks with Aussie from Elevate.
You should know better than to write me off. Consider this a teaching moment.
I think that you should come back home. I see your face when I'm alone. I think that you should come back home. I think that you should come back home.
I've been thinking about you lately and all the places that you could take me. Why you so shy? You got me going wild. 'Cause I've been saying that you got it, baby. Give it to me. See my lightning, you gonna feel my thunder. Show me how you do it. Come on, baby, say it loud. Got you on my mind now. Let me see your style. I'm on my way tonight. Oh, yeah, yeah. 'Cause I think about you, you. 'Cause I think about what I think about you. I wanted to make you see that you were the one for me, but there was enough 'cause you're up and down and then everything's the same. Baby, how do I make you listen? Don't wanna be through 'cause I wanna put you, baby, you need tonight. Don't need to behave, gonna take me away, baby. Do it one more time. And the thought of you drives me crazy. You don't need to worry, 'cause you know that you got me. Cause I think about you. Cause I think about what I think about you. Cause I think about you. Hey, cause I think about what I think about you. I feel you on the edge of my life. Driving a perfect wedge straight into my mind. Come out from under all these indecisions. Oh, make room for somebody else. Circling the edge, way up high. Don't I feel have a useful alibi? Gone too far to stop. Yeah, I try. Flying, crashing, looking for a perfect suicide. Circling the drinking and smoking yourself. Don't even wanna try. Make room for somebody else. Oh, I just wanna hide out from under all these indecisions. Oh, make room for somebody else. Circling the edge, way up high. Don't I feel have a useful alibi? Gone too far to stop. Yeah, I try. Flying, crashing, looking for a perfect suicide. Circling the edge.
escape. We'll take your mood. When you're walking on the moon. Taste your happy place. We'll change your groove. When you're dancing on the moon, dancing on the moon.
When we dance again, all our trouble seems to fade away. This is how I feel when you take me to some levels that I've never been. When we dance again,
Well, we are back and ready to get into an interview here, and we weren't able to get Mons into this one, but we have found Soy, who is able to come in and chat to us for a little bit. You know, that break, I was feeling a little bit down, energy was losing it there, so I just had to make some quantum, get back into things. First of all, I have to say, Soy, it is upsetting to see you guys go out the way you did, but how do you feel now that you're going to have to go into that third place playoff?
Look, it's quite upsetting, but the Elevate girls played amazing. So, you know, we kind of expected them to come out with guns blazing, and they did. So we look forward to playing against, I think it's Kingswomen next week.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah. I want to get some of your insight. So, namely on the first 2 rounds of Cafe, because you were one of the first few players that were getting into the building, kind of being the entry fragging force. Kind of walk us through kind of the overall process of how did that kind of unravel from your perspective, I suppose?
Yeah, so our main task on Cafe Top Floor was just trying to get Pixel out. So we worked on that really hard, opening the breaches from red and then just pushing through and trying to take control of the map, basically, which we did. Right. We did well the first few times we tried it, but then I think Elevate just kind of caught on to what we were doing and they set up well. So.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, I wasn't privy to watching the first map, but obviously it was a real big blowout. Did your strategy kind of change when Elevate came through guns blazing like that?
Yeah, kind of. We were kind of just, we were put under a lot of pressure, basically. So we were just like, oh my God, what do we do? But yeah, I don't know. They're just really good, like, aimers. So there's nothing we can do. They're just clicking heads, like...
Fair enough. Well, now that your this semifinal has ended, and you, as you mentioned before, you are going to be playing next against Kingswomen. Any kind of thoughts about how would you girls will need to approach your next matchup, and rather how would you need to approach how to play against Kingswomen to kind of counter them?
I think just in all, we just need to work on our comms as a team, work on playing together, and droning, finding out where everyone is and pushing with a coordinated attack.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, fair enough, because sometimes, yeah, it's comms can be sometimes a little bit of a hard thing to pull off, especially amongst all the chaos that is being done with all the breaching and everything. But best of luck with all the prep for the matchup. I still think that you girls have all the fire in you to at the very least get that third place win. So best of luck with all the preparations.
Thank you so much. It's been really good playing again season 2. So hopefully we can come away with third place, and then we'll be back next season, I'm sure.
Oh, most definitely looking forward to you coming back, and Forbidden to come back as well. All right. Sweet. Well, thank you very much. Well, that is it for us to talk with Soy. We still have one more interview to come around that is going to be with Elevate. So we are going to be back just after a short ad break as well, and we'll return with some more content in just a little bit.
energy, it's making me realize everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I. You wanna know my feelings every time I look in your eyes. Baby, I can feel your energy, it's making me realize everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I.
Well, welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, and we are now having the pleasure of being able to have a chat to Aussie Princess. Welcome, and of course, first congratulations on the victory there and making it to the grand final. First of all, I need to know what the comms were like with, first of all, the 1 versus 3, and then the 1 versus 4 clutches in that second map there.
Oh my god, it was wild. I'm so proud of my team and Sav for clutching up all the rounds that she clutched up. She was calm, cool, and collected. She had it handle the business, and she did it. She's amazing. But the comms were hectic. It was crazy.
I can imagine.
You really can't. No. But yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, Sav was going off even during Clubhouse on Thatcher. Out of all the operators, she was the one that was going for a few frags. I even cracked the joke where it's like on Cafe, bringing in all the fragging up stuff. missed me entirely with that. Bring in the Fragmite and the fragging Thatcher.
I
Now
know,
that's
right? She
that's
top
where
fragged
it's
the
at. It
support,
seems.
right? She's amazing. She over the last like season, she's improved so much. Like you can see it, and I'm so proud of her and all the girls. Everybody's just improved so much. We've learned so much, and like we're so like excited for the season and for next season, and we're really grateful for you guys for like running this and casting this, and yeah, it's awesome. We're having a wonderful time.
Well, now that you have to verse now against Exto, I would imagine that you initially expected for Kingswomen to come around, given that they were probably the closest contenders for the championship. Any kind of thoughts about how you might need to adjust your playstyle to play against Exto, or whether it's just going to be kind of business as usual?
Just business as usual. We did expect Kingswomen, but like I heard those girls all played awesome, and it went awesome, and like everyone is doing amazing this league. But yeah, business as usual. We're just gonna do our thing, play it out, and hope for the best outcome, which is obviously the win.
All right.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Obviously, this is going to be a major accomplishment if you guys are able to give your organization their inaugural win here in the second season of the Women's League. One thing that I've sort of chatted a little bit with Cthulhu tonight about on stream, and with Sukai a couple of weekends ago when we had the Intel Gamer Days, was a potential for you guys stepping past the Women's League, looking towards something like LPL Pro potentially. I know you guys got a taste of some of the better teams in the region that weekend, with Wildcard being probably the main feature there. Is that something that you're thinking about potentially doing? Because of really, I guess that's the next step, is to improve beyond the Women's League and dominating that every season.
Yes, I think we are hoping to do LPL or something, but that's a chat that we all have to have like in a few months or whatever. But yeah, we're looking to move past Women's League. Hopefully we'll be doing next season, and then see where we're at the end of it. But yeah, we're so grateful for Elevate and what they've done. They're such an amazing org, and I'm so like happy. Like this is my first org experience as well, and they're amazing. Oh my gosh, it's awesome.
I'm glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that is about all the questions that I have. Milboss, any kind of thoughts from you?
Think that's everything that I needed to get off my chest there. Well, I guess congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Iron Order grand finals are going to be next week. It's going to be a massive night of Siege. So I'll let you get back to your teammates and we can end this thing off.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Well, there we go, Cthulhu. Another night of Siege, another night of Women's League semi-finals done and dusted, as we've mentioned. Kingswomen, unfortunately, going down to Exto. That's a bit of a shocker.
Yeah, that is definitely a bit of an unexpected scoreline, or rather, just the outcome, rather. The scoreline, I believe it was a 2-0 as well. And that's one way to really flex it and showing that you can outperform some of your foes. Well, curious how will then grand finals really unravel, because for Elevate, they seeming like an unstoppable force, only giving Forbidden only 3 rounds between the 2 maps to really score. That is quite an achievement, I gotta say.
Yeah, 7-0 on Clubhouse is just the perfect game. You can't really beat it. 7-0 is just incredible. And then, the 7-3 on Cafe was a little bit tighter towards the beginning, but, those momentum switches to rehosts and those clutches that we talked about with Aussie Princess there really just solidified where Elevate is in the grand scheme of things, and really why I've questioned should they, try and step up and potentially look past Women's League into something a little bit more mainstream like LPL or something like that. So exciting to see what comes from this team. I think there's a lot of potential there that should be unlocked if they are able to continue on with this roster and continue developing as a squad. But Exto Gaming making it into the grand final, that is something that should be very interesting to see if they're able to hold up against Elevate like they clearly did against the Kingswomen.
Yeah, that is going to be their main challenge. Whilst they were able to bring the heat to Kingswomen, Yeah, Elevate is going to be the final boss battle, I suppose, here for Exto Gaming Aqua. But honestly, I mean, I reckon they might have what it takes to really beat Elevate and stop them in the tracks. Albeit, for Elevate, I would imagine that they would also keep on preparing and would have maybe a few vaults to really review. Given that, at least from my memory, the performance of Exto against Elevate wasn't particularly too flashy. I mean, I'll just quickly skimming over some of the results. Exto versus Elevate, their very first appearance was 7-3, and then the next one was a 7-2. So maybe grand final will see us an upset, maybe?
I mean, yeah, there's always a potential for an upset, and we love an underdog story, that's for sure. That's pretty much what XP has been built on, is the underdogs coming on through. So you'll love to see it here in the competition. And if Exto were able to do as well as they did against Kingswomen, maybe they've been doing a lot of practice and putting a lot of things onto the training ground, or I guess rather the training server, before they head into this final series. So going into that Elevate matchup, you never really know what's going to be coming. Hopefully, for everyone's sake, Pi's internet will have been sorted out by then, and she's going to be able to help you walk the viewers through that one. But of course, that third place playoff is no slouch of a series either. Forbidden Gaming coming off an upsetting loss here tonight. That should be a very important matchup, and potentially one that's going to be good to keep an eye on.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Keeping an eye out on that scoreline is certainly going to be a big thing as well. Hopefully, we will be able to update the audience as that match will be progressing further on. But yeah, I think honestly, tonight's has been quite a banger. But I think that is just about all that she wrote here, really, for this match.
Yeah, it seems like we're good to end this one here. A couple of great rounds there from all the girls involved. And of course, the interviews were great to have both of those players on board for that one. But I guess, yeah, here we go. On behalf of CQ Racing, Ubisoft, Computer Alliance, Quantum Energy, Cthulhu, and myself, Milboss, and of course Pi, for casting earlier on tonight. We thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure to come back to the same damn place next week for the grand finals. Keep up to date with all the socials. Links are down below on the little cards. You can click them to go to our Twitter and everything like that. We will see you guys once again for the grand final of the Women's League next week.
I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the best way to save them. I'm not thinking about the best way. I'm not thinking about the